ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
We now are concerned about the trends, and we're concerned about the likelihood that we could tip back into purple.
San Diego County is dangerously close to being placed in the state's most restrictive tier. So leaders are calling on the public to be more vigilant to curb the spread of COVID-19. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Lindsay Pena. County officials say the case rate over the last 48 hours was alarming. ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo is joining us with more on this grim warning. Laura.
Well, Dr. Wilma Wooten says that these numbers are just too close for comfort. Right now, we are still in the red tier, but if these numbers continue to trend the way they are right now, we could move into that purple, more restrictive tier in the coming weeks. Now, county officials say the most concerning increases have happened in the last 48 hours, although increases aren't tied to one specific outbreak. According to county numbers, the unadjusted county case rate was just 6.96 days ago. It has now gone all the way up to 7.8. But again, these numbers alone won't move us into that purple tier. That will only happen if the numbers stay consistent for 14 days. Now, moving into the purple tier would mean more restrictions and closures for many non-essential indoor businesses.
While we're still presently in red, and we certainly hope to remain in red on Tuesday, but we're here just raising awareness about the concern, about the increase that we're seeing and the need to have that extra vigilance to make sure we don't go in that higher tier and negatively impact those businesses that are already struggling.
Now, county officials say that the best way to avoid these cases from going even higher is to, of course, wear a mask, avoid indoor gatherings, and also stay home if you are sick, stressing the importance that San Diegans are the ones responsible and that if these things are done, they say these case rates can stay low and we can stay in the red tier for now. Reporting live from home, Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Here are the latest numbers for San Diego County. 311 new cases were reported today, bringing our total to 51,781. And there were 3 new deaths reported, bringing that total to 850.
Despite opposition, the Vista Unified School District has decided to bring students back for in-person learning next week. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains the pushback from some who say the plan is risky.
I think we need to find another solution so that they can have the best of all worlds.
Longtime educator Elizabeth DeBoer has a granddaughter in the Vista Unified School District. She favors bringing students partially back to school in person, but says the district's plan to have classrooms at normal capacity is just too risky.
I think there are many other alternatives that they could investigate to bring the students back without jeopardizing their health, their parents' health, the health of the teachers.
Her granddaughter, who's in 5th grade, will continue with virtual learning for now. Despite some teachers and parents rallying against the district's plan Thursday, the board moved forward with bringing kids back on October 20th. In a meeting, they heard from people on both sides.
My name is John Murphy, and I am speaking tonight in support of in-person teaching that will start October 20th. We are told to go back into the classroom in the middle of a pandemic. That makes no sense to me.
District Superintendent Dr. Matt Doyle told ABC 10 News in a statement that last month, the board approved a memorandum of understanding with the Vista Teachers Association for school reopening. But the association claims the current plan goes against what was agreed upon. A petition was started calling for changes. While the district has safety measures in place like requiring face masks and cleaning, all classrooms will have the normal amount of students enrolled, and student seating arrangements will be less than 6 feet apart.
I would hope that the district would take a look at some of the other solutions that have happened around.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
The president of the Vista Teachers Association says they're disappointed with the lack of concern expressed at last night's meeting. The association is holding an emergency board meeting to determine their next steps.
2 sailors aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt have tested positive for the coronavirus. The aircraft carrier was conducting training off the coast of San Diego and is expected to return to port soon. The Navy said the 2 sailors have been taken off the ship to self-isolate. You might remember a mass outbreak aboard the carrier this past spring affected 5,000 sailors. It also led the Navy to put procedures in place to limit outbreaks aboard its ships at sea. Across the U.S., cases of COVID-19 are surging. Now, the CDC is predicting up to 240,000 deaths by November 7th. Here's ABC's Rena Roy.
As we head into the holiday season with a surge of COVID-19 cases across the nation, health experts are warning we need to think twice about family gatherings. Dr. Anthony Fauci speaking at the Johns Hopkins University Health Policy Forum.
We're going to start doing a lot of things more indoors rather than outdoors. And that's when you have to be particularly careful about the spread of a respiratory-borne disease.
New Mexico breaking records, now cracking down on COVID-19 restrictions once again.
We're incredibly physically and emotionally fatigued by this pandemic, fair, but now we got to overcome it.
At least 38 states battling a rise in cases, 39 with an increase in hospitalizations. Texas Governor Greg Abbott now deploying surge resources to hard-hit areas, including more than 250 healthcare workers, medical supplies, and PPE.
There's a 44% increase in hospitalizations, admissions here in Dallas County, just here in the last 3 weeks.
More than 218,000 Americans have died from the virus since the pandemic began. A new study out from the CDC shows Latino deaths rose dramatically from about 16% in May to 26% in August. Many hospitals across the country are overwhelmed. The Kansas City area breaking its own records with the 7-day average of more than 130 new COVID-19 patients each day.
If we're not able to keep these numbers down, then businesses are going to look at having to close again, and no one wants to get back to that point.
As for that stimulus package, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin say there is progress in economic relief talks. They're discussing a new spending deal between $1.8 and $2.2 trillion. President Trump has said he would support even more, but Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has indicated a bill with that price tag would die in the Senate. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Unemployment in San Diego has taken a drop, though still nowhere near what it was last year. Employment increased by nearly 12,000 jobs, bringing our unemployment rate to 9% in September. Unemployment at the same time last year was 2.9%. Government jobs led the gains with 6,800 jobs added. Hospitality came in second with 2,500 jobs. Education and health services came in at third with 2,400 jobs.
Turning now to our weather. Another warm day across San Diego County and cooler temperatures on the way. ABC 10 News meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking the numbers for us. Hi, Angelica.
Hi, Kim. Yes, we're looking much better. Our heat advisory is officially over. It ended at 5 o'clock, so at the top of the show. As we look at the numbers from today, we were able to break records once again. Of course, it seems very typical under a heat advisory, at least for this week. In Escondido, we tied the record of 101 degrees. We also tied the record in Ramona with 99. And in Poway, 99 broke the previous record of 90 degrees. Campo was shy by 1 degree, 94 today. The record was 95, so we did get very close to it there. In Oceanside, 84 degrees. Yesterday we had 90s and broke records, so it was a little bit better. And that is going to be the trend as we go into the weekend. Temperatures will continue to gradually cool down. Of course, at this hour, it's still very hot outside in areas like Escondido, El Cajon, and Poway. And even though we did have some Santa Ana winds earlier today, the winds are much lighter. And now we are tracking the marine layer. Onshore flow is going to bring foggy conditions, reducing visibility for some parts of the county. We'll have much more in your 7-day forecast.
We'll check back in with you. Thank you, Angelica. The Trump administration has now granted emergency wildfire aid to California. Late today, the state said the president will provide funding after a phone call with the governor. Wildfires have ravaged California since early September. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner spoke to a local couple whose home was reduced to rubble in the Valley Fire.
Friday afternoon, a major reversal in the state's request for federal funding to communities ravaged by September's wildfires. Governor Newsom tweeting, "Just got off the phone with Donald Trump, who has approved our major disaster declaration request." The day had started very differently when news broke that the administration rejected supplying aid to clean up areas destroyed by 6 of the state's wildfires, including the Valley Fire, which burned Irving and Anita Beeman's home. ABC 10 News spoke to the Hamul couple in the morning before learning about the funding reversal.
And that makes me really mad.
We had interviewed them just after the fire, which they captured on a cell phone. This photo of their property as it caught on fire. They had to leave before packing most everything, including a box holding the ashes of Anita's parents.
I would wake up and I could just tell that she was restless, and I would look over and she was crying, so I would just roll over and hug her.
Friday morning, a White House spokesperson told the New York Times that the president had already authorized more aid for the August fires, but the more recent and separate California submission was not supported by the relevant data that states must provide for approval, and the president concurred with FEMA's administrator's recommendation. The Valley Fire burned more than 16,000 acres, much of that in the Cleveland National Forest, right by the Beeman's property. They have insurance, but still believe federal dollars should be allocated for cleanup.
Up to me to take care of the national forest. It's up to the federal government to take care of the national forest and make sure that people's houses have a big enough fire break so it doesn't get near their house.
Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
A brush fire forced evacuations near an iconic hillside in South San Francisco. The fire on Sign Hill is now fully contained, but evacuation orders are still in place. The sign that gives the area its name stands out for people flying in and out of nearby SFO. The fire burned about 10 acres, no reports of any injuries.
Your voice, your vote. From town halls to the campaign trail, President Trump and Joe Biden are putting the final touches on their bids for the White House with just 18 days until the election. As ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, the candidates are sharing their visions for America if elected in 2020.
After their dueling individual town halls, President Trump and Joe Biden back on the trail with just under 3 weeks until the final votes are cast. The president stumping in Florida where the race is tight.
As president, I'm deeply aware that America's 54 million seniors have borne the heaviest burden of the China virus.
Joe Biden in Michigan today trying to build on his message on affordable health care.
Getting rid of Obamacare is why they're racing to get this nominee through the Supreme Court.
Though separated by 1,000 miles on separate stages last night, both candidates fielded similar questions from voters, many demanding answers and a plan on the coronavirus pandemic, which has killed more than 218,000 Americans and counting.
We did the right thing. We were expected to lose 2,200,000 people and maybe more than that. We're at 210,000 people. One person is too much.
It's a presidential responsibility to lead. And he didn't do that.
And with unemployment filings hitting record highs for most of 2020 due to the pandemic, economic recovery was also on the minds of voters. Again, Biden and Trump offering opposing views.
Opening it up, we have a V-shape, and it's coming back.
He talks about a V-shaped recovery. It's a K-shaped recovery. If you're on the top, you're going to do very well.
As the race rounds the corner, the clock is also ticking for Republicans looking to fast-track Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. From his town hall, Biden alluding to the possibility, if elected, he might pack the court with more justices if Senate Republicans successfully confirm Judge Barrett before November 3rd.
If they vote on it before the election, you are open to expanding the court?
I'm open to considering what happens from that point on.
And the candidates are scheduled to debate face-to-face one last time before November 3rd. But Joe Biden says that's only if President Trump agrees to a COVID-19 test and tests negative the day of the debate. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
And President Trump is expected to make a stop in Orange County this Sunday. He's scheduled to attend a private fundraiser at tech mogul Lucky Palmer's estate in Newport Beach. This comes as latest fundraising numbers show the president falling behind Joe Biden in campaign cash. Invitations for Sunday's fundraiser show tickets ranging from $2,800 to $150,000. The event was originally slated for last Tuesday, but was postponed after Trump contracted COVID-19. And a reminder that Monday is the deadline to register for the November 3rd election. After that, you can register as a conditional voter. In-person voting begins at 235 polling places across San Diego County October 1st.